Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. You know, doing this job, it's not often that I get genuinely surprised by a product, but it has happened in this case. Today we are looking at the replacement aftermarket stylie for Shure M44 cartridges from Jico in Japan. Let's get to it. The Shure M44-7 is a truly classic cartridge design. Originally released in the 1960s, it was later resurrected by the company in the 90s, after Shure realised turntablists like the Invisible Scratch Pickles were flying to Japan to snatch up all the existing old stock. Characterised by a brash forward sound, loud output and the ability to track superbly well at fairly low tracking weights, the 44-7 was the undisputed king of turntablist carts for many years. It is accompanied in the Shure range by the M44G, a different stylus which uses the same cartridge, offering a lower output but a more refined sound for DJs who focus on blending over scratching. I've always been a strong proponent of using original stylie with my carts, having had some awful Stanton 500 replacements back in the day. And so when my colleagues at DJcity Japan said Jico wanted to send me their aftermarket stylie for review, I wasn't terribly excited. There are a ton of generic cheap third-party M44 stylie on the market, mostly found on eBay and Amazon around the $15 mark. Problem is, they aren't specifically for 44-7 or 44Gs, instead being based on the M44C, which is a stylus aimed really at jukeboxes. The cantilever is very stiff, the tracking weight is between 3 and 5 grams, which is really heavy, and so not good for your vinyl. I picked one up to try, and I can definitely say I don't recommend it. But then I started to do my research into Jico. It turns out they are a very respected company in the hi-fi scene, with some of their products like the built-to-order SAS Super Analog range of stylie being in high demand amongst audiophiles. All their products are handmade in Japan and individually quality inspected, and they clearly take a lot of pride in their craftsmanship. So what did I get? 2 pairs of stylie from their Lumino DJ series, replacements for the N44-7 and N44G stylie, both of which sell as pairs for $55 US plus shipping. A little cheaper than the OEM parts, but not madly so. Let's get the Lumino bit out of the way first. Yes, they do glow in the dark, the glow doesn't take long to charge up and it lasts a long time, but that's no reason to buy stylie. It's cool, but not important. What is important is the quality. The plastic body differs slightly from the current 44 stylie, having the asymmetrical shape of vintage models and not featuring the stylus guard. Some users might miss that, but it's no big deal to me. The cantilever itself, the crucial component, seems virtually identical to a Shure original in terms of design, materials and construction. Certainly the compliance feels the same in use, tracking just as well as the original when cueing and scratching with the weight set properly. That's one disappointment I have with the Jico range. They don't offer any kind of specifications or information like that. So for my testing I set them up exactly as I would have done with the Shure original, and that seemed to work fine. Certainly the specs appear to be identical when it comes to output level. I busted out a brand new original Shure N44-7 stylus at the same time as I did the Jico one, and I used the two side by side throughout my testing. When rocking doubles of a record or comparing scopes in Serato DJ, there was no difference to speak of. And after a couple of months of fairly heavy use, there seems to be very little to call between the two in terms of stylus wear either. There's no noticeable degrading of the sound quality of either the Shure original or the Jico version. When it comes to sound quality itself, the Jico N44-7 matches the profile of the original very closely, with a very forward, bold sound. With most music it sounded pretty much the same, although with some records, particularly some funk and hip hop stuff, I actually found a little bit more warmth in the bass from the Jico, which was rather pleasing. It wasn't a huge difference, but there is definitely something there. Although I spent most of my time testing with the 44-7, I did also spend some time with the Jico stylie for the M44G as well. The two actually use the same cartridge, with the differences in sound and output volume all being in the stylus itself. The 44G has a 6.2mV output compared to the 9.5 of the 44-7, and that's noticeable when comparing the two models from Jico. It also tracks a bit lighter and has a more laid-back sound, which is great for some styles of music, but overall just doesn't light my fire in quite the same way as the 44-7 does. While some DJs will prefer them with regular vinyl, and they still do a good job with DVS, the tracking ability is still pretty decent. I definitely lean towards the 44-7s for my kind of DJing. So there you go, my take on the replacement M44-7 and N44G styli from Jico in Japan. As I said at the start of the video, this was a genuine surprise for me. I fully expected to get your regular $10, $15 knockoff generic aftermarket styli that you get on eBay and Amazon. That's not what I got. You know, Jico are not that kind of company. They're a company with a long history of making very high quality replacement aftermarket styli for different cartridges. Some of their stuff, audiophiles, fall over themselves to get hold of. So definitely this is on a different level from your regular generic replacements. In terms of performance, super happy with them. You know, I started regular original Shure and the Jico 44-7 at the same time, one on each deck, used them consistently for 2 months, practice sessions, gigs and everything else. There's nothing to call between the two when it comes to durability, quality, record wear. Everything feels great, and the specs as well. The output level seems to match perfectly, so they've definitely matched the specifications of the original Shures. When it comes to the actual sound itself, they've got that profile. They retain the M44-7 brash, in-your-face kind of sound, but there's something about the bottom end on the Jico that with some genres, I think I kind of prefer. You know, hip-hop and funk and stuff, there's a bit of warmth there in the bass that I just don't get with, certainly with this particular 44-7. This is the thing. All styli can vary, each, you know, from one to another, there could be small variations, but ultimately, yeah, there's something about that sound on the Jico that I really like. I'm not a fan of the 44Gs, but that's not Jico's fault. That is the profile of the Gs. That is what they're supposed to sound like. This more laid back sort of sound. Doesn't really work for me. I'm definitely a 44-7 kind of guy. I like that in your face, sort of big, brash sound that you get with those. That works for me in a club situation without a doubt. So yeah, the question is, would I buy them again? And the answer is, yeah, I would. You know, they are a little bit cheaper than the originals. I checked on Amazon today in the US, $39 for an original Shure replacement. These are $55 plus the shipping, so they're coming in a little bit cheaper. But when it comes to the build, the sound, the overall performance, I'm very, very happy indeed, whether that's for DVS or real vinyl. These are a quality product, and yeah, I would buy them again. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.